You may not recognize the value of the data that you're generating today, but you better be making it accessible. Patients really want to be part of that treatment journey. They want to be involved. They know they have to advocate for themselves, and we need to provide the data, the intelligence, the tools to help them with that.
Right now, what we are all experiencing is not fun as a patient or as an individual. This fragmented and broken healthcare system is absolutely not helping.
Yeah, well, I don't think I've ever been part of any organization where I've said, wow, I've got an abundance of developers and I don't know what to do with them, right?
From AI-driven diagnostics to robotic surgeries, MedTech industry is rapidly evolving. It's reimagining itself, it's innovating. Join us today to uncover how innovations are turning the patient's quality of life into getting better patients' outcome. Hello, I'm Asha D'Souza. I'm a CEO at Ashtrix Inc. and I'm also an advisory board member at Zimetrics. Today, I'm looking forward to talk about innovations in MedTech industry and improving the quality of care for the patients. Today, I'm here with another industry veteran, and I would request Mike to introduce himself.
Hi, Asha. Thank you very much. My name is Mike Selberis. I'm the CTO of Nobel Biocare. It is an implantology company in dentistry, and we are looking to improve the healthcare of our patients and are working on some very interesting projects with digital platforms and tying the entire end-to-end digital workflow together to really make an impact to our patients' lives. Happy to be here today with you, Asha.
Thank you. I look forward to amazing conversation today. Let's delve into as what we have been seeing in the industry. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of things are changing. The traditional approaches are kind of getting outdated across the board. Medical industry has been earlier more device-centric and now moving rapidly towards digital and smart devices, embedding more capabilities with even AI within those. And our regulators are looking at them carefully and approving. We have seen at least 200 plus AI-driven approvals in the MedTech industry alone. So it is not new gig anymore, but it's kind of adopted. But let's look at what it takes. What are some challenges that we have seen industry going through to be able to adopt newer ways of doing things, to be able to reimagine their businesses, and to be able to move at the speed needed? Mike, what is your thought there?
Yeah, great topic to kick this off with, of course. While the industry in healthcare has made many advancements in digital and digitization and the AI you talked about, what I see still being a challenge out there is some of these solutions, or many of them, are fragmented. And while oftentimes we focus on digitizing a specific process, we tend to forget to look at the entire end-to-end continuum and make certain that we have a nice, smooth from start to finish. And in the space that I'm in, which is implantology for dentistry, the whole diagnosis to treatment process today has many different gaps. And what that ends up equating to is a lot of friction in the dental practice, not enough of the care team that's involved to get to the final result for the patient, not enough collaboration. And so one of the things I believe is missing is a digital platform that links all of these pieces together in a frictionless workflow. And that's one thing. And then, of course, getting different partners onto a platform brings up the age-old issue of interoperability. And so we still lack true interoperability standards. Of course, with APIs and all, there's work to be done, but can be done. But oftentimes, the systems just aren't made to work with each other. And as soon as we overcome some of those barriers, things will start getting easier. The other aspect, of course, is data. unlocking the data. And oftentimes, while we generate lots of data, it's not always as easily accessible, and we can't maybe link things again from start to finish, and that continuum is also fragmented. So this is why a platform bringing all of these elements together can really help us overcome some of those challenges.
Very well said. Connected care is critical, and for clinicians to be staying connected with patients, with the payers, and how this data is managed, is journey managed, is super important. Ultimately, harnessing the value from this data, making sure we tap this insightful data that is sitting across multiple systems, platforms, and with various stakeholders, and making sense out of it to be able to provide insights at the point of care is going to really help patients getting better outcomes. What do we see are challenges besides having fragmented data? You think organizations are moving at the speed needed? Are they adopting new ways of doing things? What are some other caveats?
Yeah, many organizations have seen the benefit of moving to cloud, but there are still some that have their data locked on-prem. And I understand the concerns and the considerations there, but there have been so many advances in the large cloud players when it comes to managing and protecting the health data that there are solutions there already. So moving to the cloud will help unlock that value that data holds and solve more problems for the customer and their patient, right? So the doctor and their patient. And so, I think the big thing is get your data into the cloud where you can begin innovating. And oftentimes, companies don't think data first. And what you need to do is really put data at the forefront of your innovation, because that's what's going to drive your innovation. And the more data you have, you're never going to look back and say, wow, I wish I had less data. You're always going to say, I wish I had more data, right? And so that's one thing I can say for certain. And so you may not recognize the value of the data that you're generating today, but you better be making it accessible. But that in itself comes with challenges in healthcare. There are regulatory concerns, there are data privacy concerns. And so when you're embarking in a project, or even if you're midway through it, the best time is now to begin really thinking about your data strategy, your data privacy strategy, how you can or can't use that data as part of your innovation pipeline. And so, put that at the forefront if you want to innovate. That's my big, takeaway here for people to think about.
I couldn't agree enough. When we design a new mechanisms, if you will, in whether it is a patient's treatment journey or how you envision clinicians leveraging your product more effectively and with data driven, it is critical that in your design thinking, you got to have security and privacy as part of built-in capabilities within your platform. It's not a choice anymore, it's a must-have. And with that, you will be able to drive towards the desired outcomes. You can scale the way you would like and will not worry about compliance aspects. Absolutely. Let's look at what we have also seen as I've been advising many companies. Companies have traditionally been used to operating in silos, whether it is at the organizational level within a large companies or in a portfolio companies. Each portfolio company are autonomous. What they are missing is taking benefit of enterprise data strategy and comprehensive ways to really unlock the value that we are talking about. On top of it, there is tons of data that device is generating as well as patients are reporting. And all this data to be harnessed so that the insights can be provided when it is needed during the treatment journey of the patients. What do you think organization needs to do to be able to operate more effectively?
Yeah, great question. If you think about where things are moving towards, it's personalized, very personalized healthcare, personalized treatment plans. And more importantly, and I see this very much so in dentistry, the doctors that are preparing the patient, let's say for a crown, for example, something as basic as a crown, they don't have the insights often that they need to know whether or not they just did a good job prepping that tooth that they're going to want to have a lab made, or they want to make it locally themselves in the practice. So in today's world, we're mostly reactive. And what I mean by that is you can prepare the patient, scan the patient, submit that to a production facility, to a laboratory, and they will oftentimes look at it and realize that it was suboptimal. And why? Because you're dealing in very small microns. And that's hard to see when you're treating a patient and you have tissue and saliva and things going on in the patient mouth. But an intraoral scan captures that data. Yet we're waiting for the producer to tell if there's something wrong with that data or not. So they put them in a reactive mode. So this was where innovation, this is where data, and this is a great place where AI can bring advancements and improvements to healthcare, is that the best time to address those issues is at the point of care, when the patient is in the chair in this example, while they're still anesthetized. If you scan and you get immediate feedback that says, oh, you need to make a fine adjustment here in order to get the absolute best outcome for that patient, we should be letting the doctors know right at that point in time while the patient is still in the chair. This is an excellent use for AI to be able to quickly provide an answer back and address the issue at the point of care. What happens is once it gets downstream, you may end up producing a part that won't fit well, will require significant adjustments and even to healthy teeth in order to make it fit, and many times requires yet another visit because it has to be remade. So it improves both the patient outcome and it improves the practice's outcome. And so this is a great way to tie all these pieces together, leverage your data, make some real-time decisions that can help guide that treatment for that patient. And as these treatments get more advanced, like they do when you're doing treatments in implantology, imagine that you had a CBCT scan of your patient, and you sent it, and now there's a more involved process to create a treatment plan by a treatment planning center or a production facility that's going to assist in this. If that data isn't good and the patient's left, again, they have to come back, have another CBCT scan. And so again, another great use case for AI is how can we see these things in real time while we can treat them at that point of care? And that's where I think the promise is at going forward.
Absolutely. I think AI is going to assist the clinicians to be more effective and add tons of value when it comes to time, the efficiency, and the better outcomes for patients, for sure. Let's also look at the adoption of these new technology challenges, having the right talent in the organization to help organization to move fast in the desired manner to be able to drive the desired outcomes as well. We have seen that some organizations are falling behind when it comes to really innovating faster. It's the traditional ways of doing things that's getting in their way. On the other hand, the young companies who are able to move fast because of they don't have the baggage, if you will. These talent shortages and being able to move in the desired direction, what do you think are mechanisms for us to overcome these and for organization to be ready to drive the outcomes and to harness the value from this data?
Yeah, well, I don't think I've ever been part of any organization where I've said, wow, I've got an abundance of developers and I don't know what to do with them, right? So there's always going to be that need. And today, especially around machine learning, AI, and some of the newer technologies, it's difficult to get talent. It's difficult to have enough talent to move quickly. And even when you have them in-house, you typically have many projects in your pipeline, and having a provider or a partner rather that can work with you, that you can outsource some of this work to, I think is vitally important. And even more so, it's more important that you have somebody that you trust, that understands the industry you're working in, and can help you truly be a partner in getting to where you need to be. If you have to rely on, bringing in new talent when you launch a new project and hire them and bring them on board, while that helps you in the long term, in technology today, these windows of opportunity open and close very quickly. So speed to action is so important. And that's where, looking to have a partner you can work with and be very strategic about when you use them can really help you get beyond that point. And when you have something that you can innovate in, you can be first to market in, you need to move quickly. And that's one way to do that.
Totally agree, Mike. What we've been also looking at is how to upskill your in-house talent, how to really hire the best from the industry. There is a shortage of the skills that you are looking for. So partner landscape, there are all kinds of partners out there, but selecting the niche player who understands your business and remains strategically aligned to your objective is critical. And bringing the right partner is what matters, like you said, for speed to action. And let's also talk about the other aspects of the innovation, where the challenges that we see in care continuum. What I have been talking to certain companies is about, having difficulty managing legacy devices that are sitting all over in practices, in health systems, and in disparate locations. They don't have inventory, they do not know how to make them smarter, while needing to innovate new mechanisms, new devices, and digitally enabled capabilities. That connected care is critical. And again, to do that, the journey that needs to be taken in the direction needed is very, very essential. So picking the brain from the industry advisors, the companies who have done there and have been successful in achieving that, and knowing that landscape is important. Do you see that in dental industry? As you mentioned, the disparateness is quite there, and lack of integrated means of solving patients' problem.
Yeah, absolutely. It exists in healthcare. It definitely exists in dentistry. There's a lot of what you just talked about there. Let me first start with IoT and connected devices. These devices sometimes can be quite expensive, and as a owner of a practice, or what we see emerging trend in dentistry are these dental service organizations, which is kind of a managed healthcare where you have maybe 1,000 or more practices a part of one organization. They need to be able to see how well their equipment is being utilized. They purchased and made those investments for a specific reason, but oftentimes they're not able to see the fleet of that equipment and how well it's being utilized. So that's kind of the first step. But the great thing about some of that data that's being generated, again, it gives you feedback on how well things are being used. What's the quality of some of your data you're collecting? And now you're starting to move from, are we using it efficiently, to, are we going to have an efficient outcome or a optimized outcome for the patient? And that's really where we start seeing the true transformation here, is these devices now are beginning to collect not just operational data, but also the quality of data that you can then use and understand the impact and how you can help ensure that you're getting the right outcome for the patient. So that's the first thing. Again, you're generating data. You want to bring that in. You want to make those insights part of that treatment journey. The other aspects are make sure, again, you have a data-first strategy. So as you're moving your patient through that treatment journey, you should be capturing every bit of information about what happened, who, what, when, why, all of those kinds of things. That data will help continue to improve the process, will help continue to remove friction from the process. And that will be the key to get us to, again, more personalized treatment plans, where you can do a lot of the analysis before the patient even comes for a day of surgery, let's say. that wealth of information helps you to get a better insight, a more comprehensive insight of what that patient's condition is, so you can do better planning. And then you can use some of these tools, including AI, to help assist you in that fashion. And we've seen in the dental industry the adoption of pathological findings, meaning, do I have tooth decay? Do I have bone loss? Do I have, other conditions that are going on? And doctors are now beginning to really rely on those tools as essentially getting a second opinion or having another viewpoint as to whether this is an area of concern or not. Ultimately, it's the doctor's decision whether or not it's an area of concern, and many times they'll just flag it and want to follow up later on a follow-up visit to see if it's truly something to be concerned about. All of this data can help you make more informed decisions, and you could help potentially create treatment plans that take these things into consideration based on kind of these historical trends of what's happening with the patient. And so that requires integration of data sources coming from many places, and oftentimes not directly from systems that are in your practice, but also from those that are in other healthcare systems. And this is where those integrations become very valuable. And as an industry, we have to find ways to share that data in a way where we maintain data privacy, of course, but also be able to use it to enhance that treatment plan, that treatment journey for the patient. Because in the end, we all care about that patient outcome. And without all of those insights during that treatment journey, then we won't have maximized that potential outcome.
Couldn't agree enough. The care definitely needs to move from hospitals to home, meeting patients where they are at, as well as more proactiveness in the care. We would see, as the innovation gets more important and more adopted in the industry and transformations occur, digitally, the companies are needing to be completely embracing the modern tech, and really from medical technology to digitally enabled technology company is what is going to help them move in the direction so that they remain competitive. If care is going away from hospitals to ambulatory care centers, to the homes, or wherever patients are at, how you need to think about bringing the capabilities and inventing what you offer to the market, to keeping that in mind, and bringing the smartness, the intelligence, knowing who the patient is, patients having data for themselves at their fingertips, and also easily connected patients and clinicians. All of this is possible. I would thank COVID for enhancing and really accelerating the digitization, digital transformation, as well as starting to reimagine healthcare of next generation. I'm pretty sure we will see early detection and even prevention in our lifetime with these advances. And we really hope that there is, complete unleashing the creativity in the organization, innovating, and being able to move the industry and move the needle for your organization to achieve better patients as well as your own business outcomes. I am very, very excited to understand how this technology and healthcare is at the inflection where we will see much better things that are going to happen. But of course, with right now what we are all experiencing is not fun as a patient or as an individual. This fragmented and broken healthcare system is absolutely not helping. So I'm hoping that leaders like yourself, myself, continue to contribute in the industry to help them move towards better patient journeys, better clinician journeys, and get the value from the care that they get. Would you like to give some parting comments and talk about what do you see in the coming years?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up this topic. For sure, COVID accelerated this need to be able to extend out to where the patient spends most of their time. home, at work. And so you're seeing these wearables, obviously healthcare metrics being captured. While some of that data is great and interesting, others can have real value in, again, formulating that patient's treatment or early diagnosis. And the more that these connected devices, the more that our internet-enabled mobile phones become part of this, that democratization of healthcare is going to improve the lives of, I would say, millions of people out there. And a great example of this that I see in healthcare, it's a company that I follow called Kelvin Health, or in Bulgaria, and some interesting technologies emerging from there. They add a little thermal sensor device to the iPhone, and you can scan your body and it picks up thermal energy using AI. Then it can detect certain conditions in a much earlier state. And then therefore, you can, basically get an idea that maybe you have like a blood clot that's forming, and now you need to go seek medical attention. And when you think about people in certain parts of the world that have little access to that level of healthcare, but yet in those emerging markets, those emerging countries, they actually have good technology with their phones. And now with satellite links and all of that, they have great internet connectivity. This will transform healthcare. And we see this even in the dental space that I'm in, especially in orthodontic treatment, for example. Being able to scan your teeth with your use of a phone and see if your treatment is on track will help you determine whether you need to go in and see the doctor and perhaps make a refinement, for example. And we're all very busy. We all have the intentions, but we don't all have the time to be able to do that. And so, again, another example of how this remote healthcare can really help change the game. And my experience has been that, patients really want to be part of that treatment journey. They want to be involved. They know they have to advocate for themselves, and we need to provide the data, the intelligence, the tools to help them with that. So these are just a few examples that I've seen that I think can lead the way. And there are many, many examples. You see people now with these diabetic sensors on their arms, and they're measuring their glucose levels and trends throughout the day. These are transformative. And when you can take that data and then make it part of that patient's treatment journey, we are, as a community, healthcare community, improving the lives of our patients. But without these platforms, without bringing this data together, without integrating and having this interoperability, without having the mindset that we're trying to do something for the greater good for the patients, we will find these data siloed and inaccessible to the extent that we can really transform healthcare. So, my big parting thing would be, as a community, we put the patient first. We look at those outcomes for that patient, and then how can we innovate to improve patients' lives? And that needs to be our number one focus, is improving the patients' lives, their outcomes. And there's definitely a huge role that technology and the data that gets generated from all of these connected devices plays in that.
This is very valuable parting comment, Mike. Thank you so much. Hopefully, members who are listening to this, getting some ideas from our conversation today, and are rolling up their sleeves to go innovate, go harness value from technology and data, and think about the patients that they are helping, how they can improve the outcomes for them. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. It's been a great experience, and I hope we can do more of these again.
Sounds good. Thank you.